Hello again. You have a microphone right next to you. So thank you for being here, and I think discussing economy and aspects that are not usually discussed in this conference, I think is refreshing and important. Director Muyangwa, I practiced saying your name in the audience with you before.
That's right.
Okay. So NAPSA, you're the director of NAPSA. So it's not just a pension authority, it's a driver of national development. How do you view the evolving role of African institutional investors in a global finance infrastructure?
Thank you very much for being here and for showcasing Haim, for showcasing Africa. There is a wider recognition by the financing entities like pension funds on the continent that developing or filling in the gaps in terms of financing that is required on the continent shall be delivered by the sovereign wealth fund and the pension fund or the institutional investors in Africa. And we are seeing a very big shift from fixed income, a lot of the portfolios being invested in fixed income, to now going into more alternative asset classes that include infrastructure. As an example, recently as the biggest pension fund in Zambia, we participated in a $650 million project to do a 300-kilometer road,
wow. Okay.
a toll gate, and also financing, trying to cut down on the energy deficit for over $400 million project with a $200 million injection. So we're looking inward to try and also look or give confidence to the external parties, foreign capital, to come in and partner with us and address the financing gaps that exist. So we play and we're going to play a very critical role in addressing the financing gaps, especially on infrastructure on the continent.
So in a sense, it may be time for investors, maybe possibly here in the audience or reading this article that will be published afterwards, to invest in Africa now.
It has never been the best time. And this is about just a time. I can guarantee you, whatever return you're getting on a dollar anywhere else apart from Africa, we can beat that and double it.
Ooh.
So that's a place to be.
Okay. So, Mr. Manuel, from your unique vantage point, how do sovereign wealth funds in Africa contribute to this shaping of new global economic order?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, we see fundamental shifts in global economic order, and sovereign wealth funds are also playing in shaping this in a multifaceted manner. What we have seen is that sovereign wealth funds are driving long-term investment in strategic sectors. They are no longer holders of capital that play on a passive manner. They are investing in critical sectors such as agriculture, digital infrastructure, renewable energies, not only impacting today national economies, but providing stability to the global chain. Mm-hmm. We have seen also a number of sovereign wealth funds working to increase the global self-cooperation by putting in place investment platforms cross-border. What we have here is just the Angola Sovereign Wealth Fund and a Zambia entity putting in place initiatives, attracting investors, playing hazard risk players to ensure that we continue to deliver in the continent. This has been seen increasingly, bringing together pension funds, sovereign wealth funds together, mm-hmm. to ensure that they invest. We are also changing the narrative. Historically, we have seen Africa as a destination of foreign aid and extractive capital. What we see today is that sovereign wealth funds are acting as a global investors. I mean, my own institution, we invest 2/3 of our portfolio in the US market, while we try to diversify the portfolio co-investing in the continent alongside other investors, such as the initiative that we'll see here with Mr. Haim. So this is a kind of rebalance of the global capital flows. We are also championing in sustainable and inclusive capitalism, given the challenges of development in the continent and the demographic trends. Sovereign wealth funds have a unique opportunity to deploy a capitalism that is profitable but is inclusive and sustainable. So we see ourselves as anchor investors. We put the capital, we know the market, we use our convening power, we attract investors to deliver and maximize the opportunities in the continent.
Okay, that's definitely strengthening the previous point. So Haim, or President Haim Taib, if I may, so you've been living, working, and investing in Africa for more than 34 years, and you launched recently a $1 billion Lobito Corridor Impact Development Platform. So what did you learn from those years in Africa and about the global economy?
Thank you very much. What I learned from these 34 years that I'm living, working, and investing in Africa, it's first of all people. We have to see the people, we have to see the needs, and we have to invest in order to make the change and the impact. I have the privilege to lead over 100 projects, infrastructure projects in Africa, Angola, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Mozambique, in the field of water, housing, energy, hospitals, education, technology. We are trying to bring technology from Israel. We export a lot from Israel to these countries. I think it's the time to change. It's the time to start to invest in Africa. I mean private investments. I think the new fund that we are launching now, it's very, very important and impactful platform. Why? Because it's the first time that somebody is declaring that we'll invest $1 billion, a private investment in Africa. And we're going to do it. And we will do it together.
Definitely. So, Haim, I have a question for the three of you. We'll start with you. We mentioned the Lobito corridor. So it's one of the most promising new trade arteries connecting the key mineral reserves with global markets. How do the countries and institutions along the corridor plan to ensure that its development brings shared prosperity to over 40 million people who live along it? And we'll focus on short answers from each one of you. Haim, we'll start with you.
Again, I mentioned the people, and you are talking now about the 40 million people that living around this corridor. The corridor is starting in Lobito, passing to Congo DRC, and ending in Zambia. It's not just a trade route. It's not just a railway. It's a place of 40 million people that living there, and we're going to look to these people and find the way how to improve their life through the project that we are talking about. We're going to invest in agriculture. We're going to invest in agro-industrial. We're going to invest in medicine industrial. We're going to invest in technology. connectivity, telecommunication, and bring a lot of prosperity to this area.
Thank you. Director, you want to give your take on this issue?
The corridor, the rail line that's going to run in that corridor is something that has happened before in the history of Africa. You can go back to a map of Africa and you recognize that most of the major economic activities are running around a spine of a rail line or a road infrastructure. We don't think the Lobito corridor is going to be an exception, but we've learned our lessons. This time we are planning much better, and we're looking at the 3 countries that are involved are looking at developing value chains and ecosystems around the rail line. So we're looking at, like Haim is saying, we're looking at agro-processing, mineral mining and mineral processing, agriculture itself. There's definitely going to be the need of creating energy infrastructure, tourism. The one thing that Africa is known for is a lot of natural or animals. They don't need visas to move from the Congo to Zambia to DRC. That is a belt for tourism that you would certainly enjoy. And we see a new economic line developing that is not only going to service Zambia, DRC, and Angola, but becomes a spine for other infrastructure developments that will now assist Africa to take advantage of, maybe you've heard this, of the Africa Free Trade Area. That is the beginning. This is the kind of infrastructure that is being laid out there. And the 3 governments are working together to make sure that there's well-planned value systems and development, supporting private sector. All these will be private sector-led, with just the government providing the enabling frameworks for regulation and ensuring that the safety of capital is assured. Thank you.
Thank you. That's definitely fascinating. Mr. Manuel, final words?
Thank you. Building on top of what has been said, we are talking about 1,400 kilometers. It's a massive extension.
Huge.
I mean, linking the Atlantic port of Lobito to the rich mineral areas in Zambia and DRC, where we have the critical minerals. And in between, we have a huge arable land. So we have the opportunity here to unleash the potential of agriculture. But we are talking about a corridor that has been upgraded, bringing roads, bringing internet, bringing power to facilitate a number of business that will target local jobs. I mean, the youth, women's, skill jobs oriented to transport, logistic, minerals. So we see here a model centered on growth, not just a simple corridor, but something that will impact into the lives of the population living around this corridor.
Okay. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. And I think we have a conclusion. We have a conclusion. We're investing in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.